Hello everybody! The long jump challenge came to an end, so it's time for some observations and conclusions. First of all, the turnout was incredible. Over 800 people showed up and set a distance over the course of the 4 weeks. Sony wasted $400 million in 8 years to achieve less. Twice. We got a wide range of players, from the absolute best in their field, over retired legends that put the reading glasses on and found CSS again, to players brand new to the movement games. So I think it's fair to pat myself on the back for how the event turned out. And with myself, I of course mean the people that actually did all the work that went into this event. Rumor, Hyson, and Icarus. If you have been around the server on the first day or two, you may have noticed the launch was a bit rocky. Then there's only one person to blame for that. The person whose only job it was to test the server, test the map, and test the plugin before the event started. Of course that was me. And if my idea of testing would have been literally anything else but closing my eyes and convincing myself, oh, everything will be alright, why wouldn't it? I would have noticed the excessive ramp bugs the one and only ramp on the map was struggling with. Maybe I would have realized that people could loop the ramp or use the solid island to illegitimately set a further distance. Looking into the demos, I would have seen that the demos are in fact not demoing anything, and even after they did, not print any jump information, leaving me clueless what I'm looking at. I most likely would have noted that functions allowing to delete or reset distances will become helpful. I probably should have noticed that there is no command or chat message spam protection either. The only thing I can forgive myself is not finding out that the people alive can't see the messages sent by people spectating. Mostly because it took about 4 days before anybody noticed that, and that was with a server stacked to the brim. So, if you, during the first couple days, thought somebody cold-heartedly ignored you while you were alive and somebody else was spectating, that might was the case, but there is at least a chance they actually did respond and you simply couldn't see it. But after a couple days of fixing, especially by Rumor, who for the first week wrote code like his life depended on it, all the problems were eventually solved and everything worked buttery smooth. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the results. And I start with myself. I am quite a good strafer myself, so it won't surprise anybody that my distance of 16,936 units is almost absolutely elite. Just 500 units further and I would have even cracked the top 100. Put another 500 units on that and we are in the top 50. Here we can find the last couple surfers that made it this far, including the best surfer in the world Levi, and legends Beetle and Fishu. Then there is a 200 unit jump. This really marks the line that no surfer was able to cross. Bihop and Climb are both much more strafe heavy compared to Surf, therefore it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that the top of the leaderboard is filled with the best Bihoppers there are on CS Source, but also less known players from CSGO that came over and set very impressive distances. The top 3 are kicked off by X in 3rd place, who was ordained to be the favorite in the event from the day it was announced. This also goes back to the fact that he crossed over from Bihop, where he was one of the best players, to Surf and started battling for very competitive records with some of the best surfers in the world. That impressive resume made him the runaway favorite, at least in the Surf community. But other players wouldn't just leave it to him. When it comes down to just a handful of units different, there's no way around the grind. Setting distance after distance, and 2 other highly talented strafers were just a bit more committed. Still a very respectable 3rd place among this very hard competition. Only 2 players achieved distances over 18,000 units. In 2nd place, a player maybe not widely known in source circles, MS, appearing during the event as the double circumflex in-game. A movement all-rounder from CSGO with a rich history of strafe-heavy B-opping, he caused some controversy after standing at the top of the event because of a ban from Longjump a couple years prior. A similar story with Farge on rank 4. But there's no evidence, not even any indication that any distance was cheated, not by them, nor anybody else on the leaderboard. MS clearly has the talent and really put in the time and got rewarded with an impressive jump, second place and 60 euros. But the winner of the Longjump challenge with a distance of 18,009 units is Hartman. Hartman is one of the best B-hop pros in the world and has 48 world records to his name right now. Still in the early stage of a hopefully long B-hop career, he made a name for himself in just 1.5 years in the scene. He takes home the €100 grand prize for first place. My quick condolences to Farge, who led the event for about 2 weeks before MS took over. Grinded the map a lot together with MS, both clocking in hundreds of attempts every day. Note that the plugin only counts an attempt when the jump was landed and the distance was measured, so any reset or missed landing didn't count toward the attempt counter. It's a fair assumption the players landed maybe 1 out of 4 or 5 attempts, bringing MS near the 10,000 attempt mark. Back to Farge, he was then sitting comfortably in second place for pretty much all of last week, before Hartman swung to the top less than 24 hours before the end of the event, leaving Farge in third place. And it looked good for him to at least carry that over the finish line, before X decided to go for a quick sprint session in the last hour of the event, kicking Farge out of the top 3 15 minutes before the tournament concluded. To not leave him completely empty-handed, I created a nice P250 craft for him to remember the victory that almost was, but that X snatched away. But that's how it goes sometimes. I want to thank everybody again that came out and gave it a shot. Huge thanks to Rumor, Heisen and Icarus. Thanks to Sam from KSF and Jive from Longjump for spreading the word on the respective discords. Thanks to my members on this YouTube channel. Thanks to everybody that reached out to me with feedback. Congratulations again to the winners. Love you all. Bye.